Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kent Holste Podcast. I'm so glad you decided to click this link and join in the conversation, as today we are going to be talking about things that happen unexpectedly. And how do we deal with it? How do we cope with it? How do we make sure that going forward, we utilize what happened to benefit our lives in a better way? Now, to lead into this, I'm going to tell you about something that happened a few weeks ago. I was in an apartment fire, and even though my apartment didn't catch on fire, I had a lot of damages due to the smoke, and I was lucky to even wake up. And the scariest thing about it, when I think about it, is if I would have taken my sleeping medication that night, I probably wouldn't have woken up at all. And there's times in your life where you can say shoulda, woulda, coulda, but it just doesn't matter. The fact remains is that by some miraculous act of God, I'm still here. And because of the situation, it has opened my eyes even more to appreciating life. I mean, how many times in your life have you had a situation happen where it was life-altering, life-changing? And the bigger question is what did you do to utilize that experience? What did you do to overcome that feeling of different emotions? You know, this isn't my first experience with a situation that could have potentially led to me not being here anymore. You know, I've talked about in the past about the car accident that I was in after high school, where I was thrown from a vehicle, and that vehicle very well could have been very, very close to rolling over on me. But for some same strange reason, I'm still here. And throughout these different experiences in my life where I've had these opportunities to continue to live life, I'm just blown away by how at first I am, for say, awoken, but it's kind of crazy still at that same point that we don't always stay to that mindset of what we've got to do to live life for all that it's worth. Let's face it, we take advantage of the life that we live. We don't always think about how lucky we are to live the lives that we do. We don't always think about the positive things about ourselves and the things that are in our lives surrounding us, whether it be family, whether it be our jobs, whether it be just the little things that in hindsight we don't feel is as important. But this is the thing. We have to start living life with the expectation that we will live for every moment that we have for all that it's worth. That we need to accept that no matter how good or bad our life situation is, we are here for a reason. Why do we choose to keep living every day as if it's just another day? Why are we not living every life that we have day after day, making the most out of every situation? Because I feel like so often we decide to complain. We decide to live our lives whining and moaning about the things that we feel like we need, but we're not getting. But instead, we're not accepting the things that we already have. Maybe it's the fact that we have good health. Maybe it's the fact that we have a job, and it may not be the best job. It may not be the job where you always get the appreciation that you feel that you deserve or get the raise that you think that you deserve, but at least you have that job. At least you have that life. We live our lives too busy having these expectations that we deserve more, but at the end of the day, we don't realize that what we already have is good enough. There's certain times in our lives where we just got to accept that what we have in our cards is the best that we can do, no matter if we win or whether we lose. There's so many people in this world that live in this mindset and have so much depression that they don't realize that what they have in their life is good enough, that personally they are good enough. And all it takes, unfortunately, is one of these moments where you go through something that is unexpected and it changes your viewpoint. It changes the way that you see your life. It makes you think to yourself, what can I do differently today to live the best life possible? So why aren't we doing that? Why do we live in fear over things that, quite honestly, don't matter? I have always said my biggest fear in life is not knowing how I'm going to leave this earth. That should be the least of my concerns. The bigger thing that I should be concerned about is how can I live for today? How can I make sure that I'm making the biggest impact, not just for my life, but other people around me? You see, I could use what happened in this scenario of being in this apartment fire and just keep it to myself, or I could use this platform to bring awareness to people to start living life more seriously. Because the more we waste our time not taking what we have and using it to help others and to build people up, what are we doing? What are we doing with our time? I look outside this world today and I see so many people that are hurting and struggling and living in this depression, thinking to themselves, why am I here? What is my purpose? You have to look deep into your life. You have to find what is going on and figure out a way to use it for not just your benefit, but for somebody else's. I could just go on with my life every single day, acting like the things that have happened in my life, whether it be being bullied, being picked on, being lied to, manipulated, being told things about my character that weren't true, and living that life, being miserable, not sharing my story to encourage other people who are going through those same exact things, that there is hope. And I choose to live my life now, not thinking about myself, but thinking about other people. Because there are people out there that are hurting, that are struggling, that are feeling pain, that are feeling alone, that are feeling like there's no purpose for their life, but yet that is not even true. Do you realize your self-value? Do you wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and go, you are worth it? Do you look at yourself and go, today you're going to make someone's life more brighter? Because if you don't, now is the time to do that. Now is the time to be that person that wakes up every single day knowing that no matter how bad your life is in your mind, it's not the end. It's just the beginning. Why do you think I say, do what you can, not what you can't? Why do you think I say, I believe in you? Don't you think you should too? Why do you think I say, think and be positive? Because within those three things, those are all things that can motivate you to be that person, to live your life to the fullest, even when you don't think that it's possible. Even when you don't think that it is going to make a bit of a difference, it is going to make a difference. It is going to create a whirlwind of a fire that will spread. The kindness in your heart, the things that you say, the things that you do will all eventually come back, and you'll see that it was worth it. You will see your self-value increase because you'll realize that you did something good for somebody else's life. We are too selfish. We are too selfish to admit that we need to support other people. The biggest thing that I've been shocked about through all this is the amount of support that people have shown. I lost my clothes. I lost my bed, furniture. Those can all be replaced. But what can't be replaced is yourself. And when people see that others are in need, that they are struggling, it's amazing the amount of people that show up out of nowhere when you least expect it and are willing to send their thoughts, their prayers, or even perhaps help you by sending you money that they work hard for, just so you can start fresh, just so you can start over, just so you can get back on track to where you need to be. The amount of people that have helped through this time for me has been mind-blowing. Whether it be longtime friends, people I don't know, whether it be my church family, blood family, whatever, it just blows my mind of the amount of kindness and generosity people have shown the last few weeks. And that's what I'm talking about right there. It doesn't always take money to pay it forward. It doesn't take a lot of time to just write a personal message or make a phone call to let someone know that you are thinking about them, that you care for them. It only takes a second, and anything is better than nothing. The issue is that there's so many people that struggle and that are hurt, and people see it happen and they don't do anything at all, but they comment about it. They say they feel bad about it, but do they express that? There's not enough people that take the time to be that person. I'm telling you now, there is no worse feeling in the world than knowing that you've lost everything. But the best feeling in the world is knowing that there's people that care. And what a big difference for me, at least. Because I look back 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I went through my divorce and I had no family around. I had very little friends that were there for me. But through this, there was more people than I could ever ask for. And my point is that there's not always going to be people there. There's going to be times in your life where you struggle, when you're hurting, when you're feeling down, and you just pray that someone would just show up, and it doesn't happen. You have no idea what that does to your self-confidence. You have no idea what that does to your mind when you're already feeling at your worst, when you're already feeling alone, and yet someone is there when you least expect it. You see, that's what this podcast is all about. That's what gives you the opportunity to make that impact. Share a time where you lost everything in your life. And at first, you felt like the world was coming to an end. You may have questioned your life. You may have questioned yourself as to, is it you? Are you really worth it? Does anybody really care? And how did you get over that? Share if you've had those moments where there were people around for you. How did that make you feel? And the biggest question is, in the midst of all your problems, what did you do to pay it back? What did you do to pay it forward yourself? Did you just let the bad things that have happened in your life just sit there and not use that to help others? Or did you take it and grasp it and take it for all that it was worth and made the most out of it and used it to benefit other people, to help them, to motivate them, to get them to see that it's not the end just because one single bad thing happened to your life? It's never the end. It's always just the beginning when it comes to struggles, when it comes to the unfortunate times that happen in our lives. So what are you going to do today? What are you going to do when something happens that you don't expect? What are you going to do when someone reaches out to you and gives their heart, their kindness? Let's figure it out together. Let's be that person. Let's be this community together to realize that no matter what happens in our lives, we are worth it. No matter if you feel it, you believe it or not. Life, it's just not a word. It's not just something that we live every single day. It's not something that should be taken lightly or as a joke. It's something that we need to live and to figure out how we can utilize it to benefit not for ourselves, but for other people. Because you don't know when there's going to be that day when it could be your last. And are you going to think back and go, I should have done things differently? Or are you going to think to yourself, I did everything I could and I am satisfied? Think about that today. Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment spot about any sort of situation that has happened in your life that has either brought you down, brought you heartaches and trials, roadblocks. How did you overcome it? What did that do for your life? And how did you utilize that to share your message to help other people? Do that today. And as always, remember to think and be positive. Do what you can today, not what you can't. And I believe in you. Don't you think you should too? And if you see someone who served our country, whether it be police, fire, military, or even the hardworking people in our medical facilities, give them a fist bump, give them an elbow, give them a high five. Do anything you can to express how much you appreciate them. You never know how much they might appreciate that one random act of kindness. So do that today. Until the next time we talk, thank you for listening to the Kent Holste Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and ring that bell for all the latest and greatest new uploads that are posted. And until the next time we talk, please remember to be kind to one another, be safe, and God bless.